it strikes me that, what we're hearing about the Sewanee Annual Fund and response rates and that there's this huge disconnect between just these incredibly positive vibes you feel about the place. And I don't know how you fix that, how you get alums sort of more involved. And
one of the things that I think would be appealing and maybe easier to do because you have kind of more hands-on is I think you have to cultivate that type of relationship with the school, because so many guys come here, and from the discussion that we heard earlier, there's a lot more freedom to kind of move and maneuver academically here to create the opportunity that you want to. And so maybe it'd be in the best interest of the school to maybe start cultivating that relationship when students are here, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, to make sure that they understand how important that relationship is, as opposed to waiting till after they've already established their lives or trying to establish their careers.
Sense of engagement early on. We actually, about 5 years ago, started what's called the Student Alumni Leadership Council. And the current plan, the current process now is to bring students in the second semester of their junior year. And we do a little bit like what we've done with you guys this weekend. We take once a month, we have a dinner or some sort of event, and we bring in the treasurer, we bring in the vice chancellor, we go give a talk, we have the deans come in, we try to get them sort of in the loop early on. And the whole idea, the title of it is Student Alumni Leadership Council. We're trying to say, this is practice for being an alumnus. But I think we could do even more along those lines.
Engaging alums sort of a bit more in the career process like we did at lunch. I think we really, because I think, once you graduate, you're like, wow, somebody really helped me when I was a student, right? That the more and more you can bring, and that's sort of a concrete thing. So I think sometimes alumni are like, ooh, I'd like to help, but what do I do? Right? And so if you give them sort of a concrete connection and come mentor students, or at least here's one. Like I know that Penn does a really good job of, there's an online career network, and you can click a link and you sign up and you're a mentor in your career, and people just call you up and ask you questions, and that kind of thing. So that's a concrete way to, as they graduate, wow, I want to give back.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too. So I just graduated from Yale Law School, and there's such a network there of like a mentor in residence program. And so here, like Nick Batson was talking about that, really bringing in leaders in the business field. But at Yale, any alum can basically shoot an email to, I guess, the career office and say, hey, I'm going to be in New York, or I'll be in Boston, or whatever. I could pop down, and usually they just get a little room, like a conference room, and maybe they're there for 2 or 3 hours and circulate their bio to the students, and students can sign up to meet one-on-one for 20 minutes and get some advice. And that's been so helpful to me as a student.
I don't think it would explain all of it, but I think there might also be some selection bias going on, especially if you look at professional programs or graduate schools. So Sewanee might be able to adapt to that through whether it's a list of 20 things of what people could possibly be interested in. You self-select into a relevant group. That might be sort of another way to do something similar, because it's really hard, I think, at the undergraduate level. We have so many different interests.
Right.
It's not like law school where everyone's
And not that law or MBAs, et cetera, not that there's a single track there as well, but it's definitely much narrower than it would be, say, at the undergrad.
And it's always kind of isolated, right? And it's not as easy maybe to pop in here as it would be to Maven or Philadelphia or whatever. So I think that bring in some technology. That might be a way to do it. Like there seem to be some fancy rooms I saw today. I don't know if you can teleconference people in. You have a big screen. You can Skype them in.
Like you're talking about the Sewanee Inn. Build it and people will come.
That's right.
And all this people are talking about today, like all this outdoor stuff you're doing with students. Well, do stuff for alumni. They can come in for a 3-day weekend or a week and just do something new and different. Because they might not be able to go to a 4-week trip to Europe or something, but it'd be fun to come back to Sewanee and see some people you know.
Have any of you ever thought about the summer, Sewanee summer, what's it called? Summer seminar. Did your parents do that? No. There are actually some parents. It's really an amazing program, but we do 2 summer sessions. It's a week long. It's a great lineup of teachers on certain focused topics, and there's lots of fun time in between. But it's mostly older people, and I think if something like that would appeal to younger. Longer, so shorter.
Well, a lot of universities are posting lectures from their professors online. Or you can go on iTunes and get a whole bunch of stuff for free and watch lectures. I mean, I would love to see a lecture by whoever from Sewanee that I can, sit at home and watch. I feel more connected with the place and reminded of the place.
Beyond the Gates, the program already exists to bring alums back to do career services interviews over weekends. I mean, it exists.
That's a world-class kind of program.
And it's something that I don't know that any of us, I don't know how close we could have come, but I mean, I know that Jason and I emerged from that saying, if we'd had something like this, where we could have talked to people. And so, I mean, it's happening. A cultural thing that we might need to address that has nothing to do with programming or anything else, and it comes in a couple different forms. First, if we say, and I think the numbers certainly would suggest that W&L and Davidson have some kind of a leg up, whether we call it endowment dollars because they're there, or alumni involvement. Karen's brother is a W&L alum, and he's very proud of his W&L alumnus. You know what I'm saying? And he wears it proudly, and he likes it. And I don't
more so than Sewanee-ish.
What I'm saying is that culturally, and again, nothing. Don't read this the wrong way, but W&L cultivates a certain culture, and we all know W&L alums. And I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm saying they feed into. I do say, I mean, when I have students who say that they want to go to, they're deciding to W&L and Sewanee, and I say, well, that's fine. I'm just telling you that everybody I know from W&L is nasty. My point is that is really not my point. My point is W&L does a very nice job of cultivating that. And listen, part of the charm and part of what you're dealing with culturally at Sewanee is that I don't have to defend Sewanee. And again, I'm coming out of I'm an English major. I went to grad school in English. I teach English. I don't have to defend Sewanee to anybody who has anything to do with English, because it's Sewanee and it's English. I mean, and people can say to me, "Where'd you go to college?" And I can say Sewanee, and they're like, "Oh," and they're fine with that. So there's no need to defend it. There's no need for me to, to be cock proud about that aspect of it. But I think that actually goes to other disciplines. I mean, I think Sewanee does a lot of things. In fact, I would suggest that Sewanee does almost all of our programs top notch. I don't know anything about biology, but listening to our speakers this morning, those are the classes that I would have wanted to take. And my problem was I didn't have time, I didn't have the setup, I didn't have all these other things. And so I guess my only thing is that I'm saying, culturally, what we might want to think about in terms of how we look at alumni involvement is that most of us are comfortable. Most of us would agree, we're here, that our Sewanee educations are invaluable.